Welcome to Travel Agent Achievers, the place to learn how to grow your travel business and have fun with it. Join Rosalind and her guests as they walk you through proven steps to a fulfilling and profitable business.
Hi, Travel Agent Achievers. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have another special guest with us, somebody who has been on the podcast before, episode number 46, Christy Moore. Now, Christy has her own travel business, christymoore.com.au, if you want to check her out and see what she's up to. But I've invited her back today to give us an update on what's been happening inside her business over the last 18 months since we spoke. So we all know things have been shut down, but Christy chose to work on her business during that time, and she has come through and absolutely soared. She's got some great news and special information to share with us. I can't wait to share the conversation. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the podcast, Christy. I am so delighted you are here once again with our Travel Agent Achievers community. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Roz.
You excited to be back? I mean, we spoke back on episode 46, so I think we've now doubled that, but that was 18 months ago. Can you believe how far and time?
Feel like it was 18 months ago? No, but yeah.
March 2021, we recorded that episode. It's now November, so almost 18 months. I'm going to take it, that it is. What's been happening for you in that time? We were still locked down when we recorded that episode, so everything was very quiet. You had pivoted to do some domestic stuff. You were working in a very special niche at that time. You were writing a book. The coloring book came out. There's been a lot that's happened, but it was very quiet then. Give us an update. What's going on for Christy Moore Travel?
Okay. Well, I think the first thing that happened not long after that podcast episode was that I found out that you and I actually had a connection way back when I was 18. Yes. So
Yeah.
that has been special. And you were there right at the beginning with not knowing it, helping, guiding me back then. And literally we've come full circle and you're still there. And one of my biggest cheerleaders I've got, Roz. So thank you for that. That's very special to me. But that was one of the big things.
That was a pretty pivotal moment when you connected the dots, and it was through an off-the-cuff comment of where I used to work and how you came along to like a careers week and the conversations that we had. I'm probably not very proud of that. When you say that I talked you out of a career, I'm not very proud of that, but I am so proud of where you are now and how your career has evolved as well. We followed very similar paths in the hospitality and tourism industry, and you got into travel quite early as well, which is really exciting. But I just wanted to say I am so proud of you from knowing you when we were 18 and you were in high school, everybody out there listening. So I was working at a hotel school, a very fancy Swiss hotel school in Sydney, and I was a marketing coordinator then. And one of my responsibilities was to look after school leavers or those that were considering making a choice or decision about their career. And Christy came along to a week-long event where I was fortunate enough to stay in a hotel with her and a bunch of other Career Week students who came in from all over Australia and New Zealand. I think we even had people that came in from Singapore for a couple of them, and they understood and learnt about what the hotel and hospitality and tourism industry was about. We went along and saw a number of hotels, and it was a really cool week. I didn't realize though that you were a bit of a rebel back then, Christy, and you still are now.
Yes, I was 18 when I actually did year 12. So I was a little bit older than the rest of the kids. So I was the one that was sort of a bunch of 17-year-olds out of home for the week.
Don't tell anybody else what you did. I did not know about that, everybody, and I do not condone that sort of behavior as an 18-year-old. Yes, but I would never have picked you to be that rebel without a cause back then, but you made some wonderful decisions. Your career has been absolutely exceptional. I'm honored and proud to be a part of that journey with you, and to have come full circle, as you said, through that conversation that we had where you showed some pictures. I still know a number of those people that you went to that careers week with, and it's an honor and a privilege for me to see their journey as well as yours. So that happened. What else has happened for you?
Wow, everything really, Roz. Well, I guess we were still in lockdown, and for majority of 2021, we were in lockdown. You know, at the end of 2021, things started to get, I guess, with the vaccinations, you know, there was some hope that we were gonna open, but I guess in that time things were sort of just still plodding along because there wasn't much more we can do. At that time, it was just more promoting the colouring book and sort of just taking what was available, because it was very slim with bookings at that point in time because we were locked down, but there were still a few people traveling here and there interstate where they were allowed to, because there was pockets of that. But basically it was quite quiet still for that whole 2021. Come to the beginning of 2022, I attended one of Roz's planning days that she had in Sydney, which was, you know, fantastic. Again, we had just come out of lockdown. At that stage, the world was sort of opening up, but there was still that wave of COVID that was around still. You know, sort of just before Christmas, it came in those waves, and it was still sort of there. But we went to the planning day, which was fantastic. It was the first chance that I finally got to meet a lot of the achievers in person, and just having everybody in the one room was magical. But I guess where I'm going with that is at that planning day, we had to set some goals and some figures for ourselves, and things that we wanted to achieve this year, which is, you know, the 2022. And I, you know, set my sales targets for the year. Again, we just opened up. You know, I was still quite new, even though I was sort of 2 years old at this stage. The last 2 years didn't really count. So I was still quite new as a business. And I set some goals. Well, I'm so proud that by being part of the Achievers, which, you know, we get to learn from you, Roz, and we all, you know, we're so grateful for you, which is, you know, to sharing your knowledge, which is amazing. And by allowing us to, you know, soak in the Roz and soak in your team as well, you know, it makes us be able to grow and bloom, I guess. And I'm proud to say that just in October alone, when I did my sales figures just recently, I made for that whole month what I set out to make for that whole year at that planning day. I've still got the booklet and the figures that we did, and I often look back at it, and yeah, so that's how far I've come really in the last 18 months, you know, and that's a true credit to being part of the Achievers. If anyone's out there listening and you're on the fence, just do it, because you know what you learn from Roz, and not just for my business. I must say, my husband's got a cabinet making business, and I implement a lot of the things that we learned through the Achievers into his business as well. So there is a lot of, you know, great business knowledge there as a whole. But yeah, anybody sitting on the fence out there, you know, thinking, you know, is it worth it? It definitely is. You know, your business my business has just grown and blossomed by, you know, being part of the group. And it's not just Roz, it's the whole community. You know, everybody comes together.
We've got some incredible people in the community. Everybody has a different niche. No, I was just over the weekend looking through social media, and a number of them were all cruising on the same cruise. Now we're all across different consortia and agencies, and, you know, what would traditionally be seen as competition previously. But one thing that I do love about the Achievers is how we are all together and we are all on the same journey. It doesn't matter who, you know, you do your bookings through, or who is holding your back office, or whether you are doing it on your own. I love that community and how we can safely ask questions without judgment, or without going, oh, can't believe you don't know that. And there's none of that goes on. It's just complete support, even down to helping with writing emails and things at times. Somebody's struggling with something, and then somebody else will pipe in and say, this is what I say. We all have our own strengths. And one of the things that I love about the community, and also for your contributions, Chris, Christy, is just sharing the knowledge and expertise, because we all do things differently, but we're all in it together. So one thing that you said there is coming to the planning session in January. That was, I mean, it was a risk to run a live event. So for me, I was quite anxious and nervous, and, you know, are people going to want to come together and do things in person rather than doing it all online like we had been doing it? The world had only recently opened up. I know that travel back in December, you know, one of the first countries to open was Fiji, and a lot of people were quite nervous still about traveling and navigating the processes. How are we going to do it? What do we need to have? What are the restrictions? How does it all work? But to come together at a live event and for yourself in that planning phase, so you had spent the last 18 months, you know, working for yourself, by yourself. You were at home. We were all coming together as a community online and doing some virtual training, but also virtual planning and implementation. So to be there in the room, did the conversations change for you?
It was just the buzz afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I actually went home and I actually did get COVID when I was in Sydney. You know, I'm from Victoria. So I spent the
Wasn't
next
from
week.
our event, everybody, just
No,
so you know.
it wasn't. It was we were pretty sure it was from Luna Park, but it wasn't. No one else was sick at Rother's event, so it's definitely not there. But yes, so you know that first week I was quite sick afterwards, but it took a while to soak everything in.
Yeah.
But just it was like it's hard to explain. You sort of had to be there there was like an energy in the room. And just everybody coming together finally. You know, like as you said, we'd been sort of, you know, doing a lot of Zooms. So it was like we knew each other for that past sort of 2 years. But to finally be in that one room, and to
Very
it was like everybody was absorbing everybody's energy.
Yeah, it was
amazing.
cool. So with that planning session then, and actually looking at your past performance and what you wanted to achieve for 2022, did that feel unrealistic at that point? Like you've just said that you set a goal for the whole year and you looked at your stats in October, which is what I encourage everybody to do. Look at your numbers on a monthly basis. How are you performing? How many bookings have you processed? You know, what quotes have come in that haven't been actioned or didn't go through? There are a lot of different statistics to look at that you can quite simply, but for you looking at your past performance and what was then projected to come or what you wanted to achieve, was that a scary process in itself? The taking out what you've just done in a month. Yeah.
Because it was just you know, to me, I was just a brand new business starting out. I didn't have the client base to sort of go back to that other travel agents had from the beginning of COVID, because at the beginning of COVID I just opened, so I didn't have a huge basis. So it was scary sort of putting figures down, thinking, okay, well, travel's back, it's open now, where can I go?
Now, there's a couple of things that you have done, Christy, over the last 18 months. The first thing, you just mentioned client base, and we'll talk about that as well. But you sold in October the amount that you had projected for the whole year. Like you did that in 1 month, so 1 month worth of sales. But you've also put a lot of effort and work into your own visibility and getting out there and becoming known as a specialist and an expert in a particular niche, which, you know, we had spoken about when you and I first met back in 2019, 2020. It feels like forever ago. Who knows? Those years have all just passed. But you know, I love that I've known you for a while now and I've been able to watch that journey. But for you, you were quite focused on one particular thing, but you started entering awards.
Yeah.
How did that come about, and what has that, or how have entering awards helped you in your business? Now, let's not talk about the wins or anything like that, but just having a look at your business. So entering awards, what's that done for you? And why did you do it in the first place?
I think it was more for the marketing side of things, using it as a marketing sort of tool, but for confidence boosting too, because when you sort of get to write awards questions, I guess it's a reflect. You get to reflect back and see what you've done. Often there's questions about, tell us about your achievements, or just at the history. So by just sort of going through the application process, you actually sort of get to put your business under a microscope, but at the same time, you get to see what you actually have done, because often we don't, I guess, celebrate the small victories, because to us, we don't sort of see it, but people on the outside do see it.
That's right.
So,
and that's the big thing, I think, with business owners, or small business owners in particular. And then if I was to niche it down even more to travel business owners, we look at our business and we every day, like, tell me, do you have a to-do list right now? Like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you and I here recording this episode, but you've got a to-do list, right? And do you just tick it off and go, yep, that's now done. Yep, that's now done. Yep, that's now done.
Most of the time, yes.
I think all of us do that. That is just our natural, we've got to get through today. And because things are so busy right now, it's tick it off, move on to the next thing. But hearing you just say that with the awards process, and this is one thing that I love about the Achievers, and we have an accountability session every month as well, where we all get to look back at what have been our wins for the last month. Because as small business owners, I don't think we do that enough. I don't think that we celebrate the good things that happened. And when I got your text message saying, Ros, OMG, I've just achieved this amount of sales in 1 month that I'd projected for the whole year, like, that just blew my mind. And I was happy dancing. The tears were welling up. I ran out to my husband and I went, you are not going to believe this, the message that I've just got. That is celebrating the wins and actually looking at your business from like a helicopter view to say, look how far I've come. So that's part of the awards process, right? And that's one thing that you have done over and over again. How has that helped you with your confidence?
It's made me realize that I am the expert that I'm claiming to be. That I am, and I guess it's always that little person on the shoulder, or the imposter syndrome that does sort of hold us back. But it has allowed me, I guess, to step into who I am as a business owner and where I want to be, personally and professionally. I guess it's it's allowed me to sort of open the door and say, yep, I'm here. I'm ready to play now.
Yeah, that's right. So what was the very first award submission that you put in?
The first one I ever did would have been for the Osmum Awards. And the first time that I entered it, because I think that was one of the ones that I knew about previously with my old business. I had looked at it for a little bit in my old business and never went around to doing it. Never thought I was good enough, up against these big businesses and things. But
that's the thing. The imposter syndrome started to come up.
So I knew about these awards, and when it came around for the first time, it's like, you know what, they had a category for sort of new idea, just starting out. It's like, that's where I was in business. It's like, well, I need to get known. I need to get my business name out there. COVID was around at that stage, but it was more to sort of keep my business name front of mind for people whilst we were dreaming about traveling. So then when they were ready to, when the world did open up again and they were ready to take that step, that they would remember me and my business.
Yeah. So that was the first one.
Yes.
Okay. The marketing process for you was thinking, this is going to do something different. The confidence is starting to build because you'd seen the wins on the board. You're like, hey, I actually did do that. You're reflecting back on your journey. And that's part of the submission questions, is asking you about your past and what you've achieved and who you are and all those sorts of things. So you need to be able to confidently talk about yourself to submit, right? So then you go through to the next phase. Right. And you have done incredibly well. So the next phase is then becoming a finalist and winning. You have won some incredible awards over the last couple of years. Yeah. What have they been, and what are you most proud of there? And what have they done for your business?
Yeah. I guess one of the most recent was the National Travel Industry Award in Sydney, because it's industry based. I guess that's my most special at the moment. Um, yeah, and it was,
Absolutely.
being nominated and getting a finalist in that. Everyone I sort of told, they're like, oh, how did you do it? Your first try, sort of thing. We've been trying for years and still have never been a finalist. So it was a very big honor just to be a finalist in the awards, but to actually hear my name as the winner. I think I was in shock afterwards. I was quite speechless, but that is a very special award for me, because, and I guess what also makes it so special is because I really thought I had no chance in that, because with the finalist interview, as a finalist with that one, you had to be interviewed by a judging panel, and I thought my interview
You thought you'd bombed. Let's be real.
I bombed out.
You thought that
I bombed out.
Done a terrible. It had been terrible. It had never happened before. Your internet went out. Things just did not go your way on the day.
Yeah.
But you did walk away with that award, and it is an incredible honor to become a finalist. So to become a finalist in any, awards. But I think the message here is, go for it. Like, really put yourself out there and submit. Now, it does take time to put your submission in, and a lot of questions are daunting for people, but becoming a finalist and winning in different categories and winning different awards, what has that done for you personally? Let's start there.
It gives you that confidence boost. They are, you get to have them on your shelf to show off. You get your badges on for your emails and things like that. So it's sort of a little bit of an ego boost, I guess.
Which is
but
really
it reminds
good.
me that I can do what I'm what I'm setting out to do. I'm reaching the goals that I set it out to make. Like we were saying before, with my business, I'm, where I thought I would be 3 or 4 years down the track. Things have been fast tracked for me, which is fantastic. So, but it makes
the awards have had that. It
sits back in to show that I've done what I want to do. Not completely done, because there's still a lot more goals out there, but I'm ticking the boxes off on the way. So the awards, I guess, to me just sort of show that I am going in the right direction, and that there is people out there that do want to celebrate and do want to do believe in me too, because they are listening and reading my story, and they're the ones that are selecting the judges and so forth. So I think it just validates that I am on the right track. It was the right decision to make, to come back to travel and to continue the business. It would have been so easy to walk away when COVID hit, because I was new, but to keep following that dream. So I think it validates
you. I can certainly see that it's helped with the confidence, it's helped with clarity, but what's it also done for your business?
It's been with the award plus rods together, it's the perfect marketing plan. But no, they've helped. Again, they give credibility. So they give credibility to my business. I've had people reach out prior to some awards and things, or just saying, I've seen your name all the time popping up, like, who are you? I've never heard of you before, like, where have you come from, sort of thing. So it's been interesting, but definitely credibility.
Credibility is a big one there. Now, with all of that, the marketing that you've been doing around this, and I love that you don't shy away from when you become a finalist or when you do win an award. Like, you don't shy away from that. You're like, here you go. This is what I've just won. This is where I've been recognized. That, I think, is also really powerful. Like, and I put myself in your shoes sometimes, because I look at it and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go out there, because I've been told in my past, don't big note yourself and beware of tall poppy syndrome, and people are going to look at you and think that you're too big for your boots and you're obnoxious and all these other things that I get in my head, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it myself in case other people are looking at me that way. But I absolutely love, and I'm taking something out of your book and going, you know what? Yes, for the awards that I'm winning and the finalist categories and things, I need to talk about that more, because it is a credibility thing, but it's also a really good marketing tool. And people need to know that so that they can see you and go, oh, wow, yeah. What you just said, Christy, people are asking you, oh, I didn't realize that that's what you do. Or I didn't know that, how did you get these awards? Or the credibility, the marketing, the exposure that's come from all of that, I think has done wonders for your business. So I want to absolutely congratulate you on putting yourself out there. And even when the imposter syndrome comes onto your shoulder, you're like, no, I'm going to talk about this. Like, I absolutely love that. And that I'm your biggest champion and cheerleader to say, go for it.
As you said, Ros, but everything that you said that you feared, that was me though. Also, I was, in my younger days, I've always been very competitive, but I was, doing sports and was quite good at it. And used to always get told, no, well, you can't tell people about it, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. And it took me a long time to sort of get over it. It's like, no. So no, that's, yeah.
We all have different things, and we all have self-talk and self-doubt that comes in. That's just who we are as humans, unfortunately. I admire people though that don't have anything like that, and I see that in my husband. I'm like, how do you not have that? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a boy-girl thing. I don't know, but keep doing what you're doing. So this has also helped you from a marketing approach in your business as well. So you have also slightly changed tactics and direction over the last 18 months. I'd probably even say the last 6 months from what I've seen you do as well in your travel business. Yeah. So has that been due to the awards process or the marketing that's come from that? Where is your business now heading?
It's a little bit of both, and a lot of and a bit of me realizing my self-worth, I guess, from doing the workshops and and implementing things as we are learning. At first, I guess I wasn't really valuing myself, and a lot of us don't. We don't. I know someone said once that it worked out to be $1 a minute that we were getting paid, or $1 an hour. Sorry, not $1 a minute, $1 an hour. And
an hour when you do the work, the time audit and how much time you're spending on a booking compared to the commission or the amount that you are receiving from a booking fee or something like that. Yeah, we had somebody that said I was earning $1 an hour, and that I was crushed. And I still think of that, and it brings tears to my eyes, because we are the experts, and we do know so much, and we put so much time and effort into continual learning that I don't want that for anyone. That doesn't even put a roof over our heads. So particularly here in Australia. So your business has changed direction. You've looked at your numbers. You've known what works for you. Where are you going?
And so with that, I had trouble at first with fees, I guess, because as I mentioned earlier, we do have a cabinet making business, and in the cabinet making world or tradie sort of world, you don't charge for a quote as such. And so I've always had my husband at the back, oh no, you can't start charging people fees, because then they'll just go to somebody else. And then again, I wasn't really valuing myself. And when I sort of put it all on the table, I realized that I need to change my approach or change what I'm doing. And a way that I felt more comfortable was I decided, rather than charging, say, an individual fee and moving away from, say, the word fee and looking at our language like we've been taught. So rather than, it's an investment, but looking more at a yearly sort of package that I could package up. And I thought, if I can package it up as a yearly package, and I started then contacting people that I used to work with when I left travel, I guess, from the corporate world. And I had a lot of friends that do a lot of training for work. So they fly sort of around Australia doing bits and pieces. And I thought, well, I'll offer it to these, this sort of group first. And that sort of took off. At first, I didn't know how it was going to work, but it did. So now I'm looking at really changing it up, and a little bit with looking at maybe reducing the amount of trips we've offered or looking at increasing the actual yearly fee as such. But yeah, so we're playing around with it, but that has worked, which has changed the business sort of dramatically overnight. But also in saying that, yeah, we're doing a lot more sort of group sort of things. I've finally found the groups that some of them have come from the awards, which has been fantastic. And then it's just spread, and someone said, oh, you did this and this, and then it's just kept going, which has been fantastic.
Correct. Yeah.
But at the moment, it's sort of changed from the families as such, with the autism work, which we're still doing a little bit of, but it has been more sort of the yearly based clients now, which has been great. And we are going to cap it at a certain amount each year. So we've still got room for 5 at the moment, guys, for the rest of this year, and we'll look at that again next year. But that way again, I can spend time, the quality time, I guess, with each client, rather than taking on too much, or sort of saying yes to doing everything. And I guess another thing that's I've changed in my business too is I do say no to certain bookings that aren't going to be lighting me up, or not the ideal client. Where 18 months ago, when we would have done that last recording, I would have said yes to anybody. So I have really learned to that self-value and self-worth, and it was empowering to say no. It actually felt amazing afterwards, and something I never would have done 18 months ago.
Respecting yourself, I think, is a big thing there, and also your time. So being really consistent with, well, hang on a second, this is going to take me an hour or a couple of hours to do. Where is my time best spent? And I know you've done a lot of work on, and you and I work together separately, but we also, you've done a lot of work in actually saying, this is what works for me, and I'm going to implement that. So where you might have an annual investment for clients to work with you, and that is based on a certain amount of people that you can then work with throughout a year, and they have a certain amount of trips, other people would be looking at a planning fee or a holiday session, or different ways. And I see that there are many different ways that we can be working with clients, and it really comes down to you as a person and what suits you and your business, but also your time. So you still help your husband in his cabinet making business one day a week. You are also now a member of the board for the Australian Travel Agents Co-op, A&TA, and you've taken on the treasurer role there as well for the next 12 months. So you've really stepped up. And what I've seen with you, Christy, is your visibility has, the confidence that I can see in you, but also the visibility. So you've actually stepped up. You network at different events. When you are at these awards events, you get involved and you offer assistance and help. And I have seen where people have then flocked to you and said, oh my goodness, Christy, you just organized these hotel rates for everybody that just attended this event. And can you help us with our group? And can you help us do other things? So your consistency, the way you care about your clients, you go above and beyond. And I know you and I had a conversation about this, and I'm like, Chrissy, don't do that. That's going to cost you money. You still went ahead and did it anyway. But that has proven that it works for you. And that has brought in more business. So by sacrificing a little bit here has helped you bring on a lot more business and has a wider reach, which I love for you. And I've had people like my friends and clients that have come to me and gone, is it all right if I work with Christy? I really want her to organize this. I'm like, absolutely. She is the best person for you to help coordinate a group or an experience or whatever it is that they want as well. So I've been watching and able to be a witness to the growth that you've had, the difference in your marketing approach as well, the confidence that you have to actually step out there and ask for what you are worth. We're going to work on that to increase that and reduce the number of trips. I know that we were just talking about that before, but also to work with the people that light you up and that give you that energy and you love spending time with. And that's definitely where I've seen a spark in you show up just from even attending an event together and somebody asking you to then coordinate their group trip. And we've now been discussing that, but to see the energy and the excitement light up in you because you are working with the clients that you love brings so much joy to me. But I think that that's also going to help you with your business and catapulting you to that next stage as well. I already see it happening. So you've just had a record sales month. Have you started looking at 2023 yet?
Yes, but I do have a planning day booked in for the first week of December. I've actually set it aside. I think it's the 3rd, but yeah, I've got to set aside a day in my diary, so that way it is literally looking at everything financial, social media, goals, but basically, yeah, looking at everything for 2024. 2023 and possibly even later to 2024, because there's things at the moment that are already happening throughout 2023. So, I think now that the world has opened up, I have to look at that bit further rather than just sort of focusing sort of just on the next 6 months or next 12 months. I now have to look, 18 months ahead when I'm looking at planning and things.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're already looking into 2024 and planning out that as well in our travel business. So just so you know, on the 1st of December, we have inside our Achievers Mastermind, that is our masterclass, and we are going to be looking at planning for 2023. So that will be our set aside time to work on that. We've also got Claire Cope, who is our corporate psychologist, coming in for a guest expert session in December as well, talking about reflection, but also how we can get our confidence and things going there with our mindset. But I love that you're scheduling time to then elaborate on that plan that we'll come up with together on the 1st. So love it, Christy. I love that you are learning, you are implementing, you are looking at your sales, you are looking at your fees. Now tell me a little bit more about increasing your client base. So looking at where you were 18 months ago to where you are now, have you started looking at what you're going to be doing for Christmas for your clients, or planning out your customer love into next year? What sort of details are you getting from your clients now so that you can celebrate them along the customer journey process?
We've just planned the Christmas cards, so we'll do Christmas cards with a little nice little chocolate that we've picked out to sort of go alongside with them. So just to sort of send a thank you for the year, because it has been quite a big year. We started at the beginning of the year still in that unknown. It was sort of opening, but it wasn't. We didn't know for what we were going to open fully, and January was still wishy-washy, and then February sort of came, and we literally then started to see the light at the end of the tunnel, which was great. So it's been an interesting 12 months or 11 months up until at the moment sort of thing. But yeah, it is. It's just
planning now, though. You've got a lot of things in place to really take care of the clients moving forward. I know that you are thinking about Christmas already. You'll be thinking about next year. We'll put those systems into place to say, right, here's your birthdays that are coming up for this month, and sending out, gifts or cards or little things to remind your clients of who you are, what you do, and then help you with growing your business through the repeats and the referrals and those sorts of things as well, which is exactly where I see your business going and growing, which it already has. From what we were saying before about attending events, and people are already talking, they're referring you, but your consistency through social media and also with getting your message out there, your consistency with attending awards, submitting into them. I am absolutely thrilled to see where you have come so far. I know the next 18 months are going to be fabulous for you as well. And I look forward to another chat so that we can catch up and share the next progress for you as well. But I think that, thank you for sharing your experience inside the Achievers and the Mastermind, and how it has helped you, and working together as well has helped you over the last 18 months.
I honestly wouldn't be here where I am. My business wouldn't be where it is, and me as a person wouldn't be who I am without having spent the last 18 months as a part of the Achievers. And I truly mean that with, my whole heart. My business wouldn't be, I wouldn't be able to say those things, I'm making it a month now rather than a year. It would have taken me you know, that year to make that figure. You know, I know that my business is in such a better place for being a part of the Achievers, and you and the whole team. You know, as you said, when we do ring that bell, everybody's there to celebrate us. If we are having a bad time, they're there to help us. You know, I think it's got us through the last 18 months. And now we are there able to celebrate each other and help each other when we do need it. But it's a great feeling having you guys in my corner, definitely.
What would you say, Christy, to somebody who is out there right now? And, you know, I have personally seen everything go from 0 to 1,000 again. And pre-COVID, I was having so many conversations with travel advisors all over the world that were overwhelmed and, you know, had so much business. They didn't know how to get through the days. Like, we have gone from that to nothing, now back to that. So where there have been advisors that haven't necessarily been able to work on their business over the last 2 years and that have had to go and get second jobs, but are wanting to come back to the industry, what would you say to them now? Because you have learnt and implemented. And this is one thing that I love about you. You take action on the things. So if you had an advisor come to you and say, oh my goodness, I am absolutely swamped right now, I don't know how to get my business organized and systemized, what would you say to them?
They have to first of all join the 6-week program. That's the first step.
Yeah, so the travel business accelerator.
You get the stepping stones, but you really need to set those foundations in place. If you haven't got the foundations in place and the systems in place, you are just going to fall flat on your face, because it is going to be too much. No matter, you know, even if it is only a little bit, it's still going to overwhelm you. So by having the systems in place, it helps lessen that sort of overwhelm. You know what you need to do. You know, then if you do need help, where you can outsource or get assistance with. But if by not having those systems in place, you will just fall flat on your face. You really need to start at the beginning and set everything up. You know, even if it is taking you know, a couple of weeks off to actually work on it all, that's what you need to do. Or if you can do it whilst you're getting clients, great. But if not, you need to get those foundations set up first.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely get them set up, get yourself organized. You know, if it's not part of the Achievers or the Travel Business Accelerator, then start somewhere. And I think that that's the big thing that I'm now seeing is I want advisors to be working on their business still, but to make life easier for them in the future. And certainly that's what you've done. You continue to implement. Your business is soaring and growing. I know that it's going to continue through to further heights wherever you are wanting it to go, Christy. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being so open about your journey and your processes and where you're at right now. I know that it helps other listeners out there. I know that it helps other travel advisors hearing about your journey, as well as others that are close to us and that are a part of our community, because we can all see ourselves in other people. So thank you for sharing that. And also your awards journey and process. And I'm delighted to say that inside our Achievers Mastermind, Christy's going to give a guest expert session in March next year, where she'll be talking further about her journey, where she's been, what she's done, how to get involved in the awards process, because there'll be many more that come out next year. And we want lots and lots of travel advisors to get involved in becoming more visible and showcasing your expertise. You too can also get out there and bring in the clients that I know you will continue to love, and you deserve every success in your business. Christy, thank you so much for being here today, for joining me once again on the Travel Agent Achievers podcast. It is a true delight to continue to hear your story, to work with you, and I wish you every success over the coming year, and catching up with you again very, very soon.
Thank you so much, Ros, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, everybody. So if you are keen to hear more about Christy's journey, don't forget to go back to podcast episode 46. We'll link to it in the show notes. We'll continue to keep you updated. You can follow Christy on social media as well, Travel More, and we'll link to that. It's MOORE, travelmore.com.au. So you can check out her website, see what she's doing across all the social media platforms, but also reach out to us if you need help with your travel business, you are looking to do something different. We are here to help you. Have an awesome, awesome day, and we look forward to catching up with you all very, very soon. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Travel Agent Achievers. If you love it, please share it on Instagram or Facebook. Make sure you tag us too so that we can shout and share with you, as well to your friends and colleagues. We are here to help as many travel professionals as we possibly can. Don't forget to check out the travelagentachievers.com website for loads of resources and tools to help you grow your travel business. We'd love it if you shared a review and you subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode in the future. Now, I truly hope this podcast gives you so much value and ideas to help you build the incredible travel business you deserve to have.